Any second. All right, everybody. We are back at you with another YPN Hot Seat, where we come with you once a week, every Friday, with somebody in the YPN community and interviewing them just so you can get to meet them, get to know more about them, so that when you see them at an event, or if you just want somebody to reach out to, maybe grab coffee with, lunch with, you have a little bit more information about that person. And today we do have James Pyer, the second, with us. And James, do you want to tell us who you are, where you work, and what you do at that job? And then we'll kind of get into the background of getting to know you as a person.
Thanks, Corey. You got my name right. It's very hard to pronounce the last name because I do interchange it depending on who I'm meeting. So I'm
how
sorry.
do you specifically announce it? Or how do you pronounce it?
It is Pyer, yeah.
Pyer.
Like
okay.
There's a lot, yeah. But sometimes I say Payer over the phone so you can spell it right if I'm giving you my name, or if I'm meeting you the first time, you can spell Payer correctly. But I'm the director of marketing and business development for the Empire Mall here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the largest tourism attraction in the state of South Dakota. So we're really excited to be on the show today, and I'm ready for you to fire away questions. Put me in the hot seat.
Absolutely. So, James, I do know there is a big rumor out there. I don't know if it's a misconception, if it's true, what it is, but is it one of the largest one-story malls in America?
It is. You got it correct. We are one of the largest one-story malls in America. We have over 1 million square feet. Most malls, if you go to them, have a second story or an escalator elevator combo that gets you to another level. We are 100% all one level.
That's so cool. So are we number one, or are we just one of the top?
You know, we held the record. I'd have to go back and see if we still are holding that record, but I believe we are the top one in the great state of South Dakota.
That is so cool to hear, and it's something that I think is a little known fact that most people don't know. So that's super, super cool. So you're super involved with Sioux Falls. If most people don't know you, which I think most people do, but if they don't know you, how did you come to Sioux Falls? Are you originally from here, or did you move here and now you're just super connected in the community? Tell us a little bit about your story.
I grew up in a small town, Wagner, South Dakota, where there was one stoplight. So I went to the University of South Dakota and knew that I wasn't ever meant to be in a small community. I, for a small stint, moved to Watertown and then ventured down to Sioux Falls, and I started working in HR. I have an HR background, and that's my degree, and then worked for a nonprofit in town that needed someone to do more relationship management, and so fell into fundraising, and I did fundraising for about 8 years, and I got super connected, and I started volunteering. I love to volunteer. I got connected within the chamber, the Sioux Empire United Way, the Washington Pavilion, downtown Sioux Falls, and it eventually led a lot of doors to open up for me and get connected with other people, and I found my way to the Empire Mall.
That's crazy. That's so fun. And one of the things that I do know personally about you is you're so passionate about volunteering, giving your time to others. A little story for everybody watching. I know when I first met you, I didn't know who you were. I don't even remember who told me to reach out to James Pyer and just have coffee with him. So, or you maybe reached out to me. I'm not even sure how it happened. But when I did, I remember specifically, and it made a huge impact on me, was when we were finishing up, you're like, you know what? You need to meet this person, and this person. And they were all big league people in the chamber, in Sioux Falls, in the community. And I was able to reach out to them. You made that connection happen. So just the willingness that you have to help others. And like I said, that was our first time meeting. And you were willing to do that. So that willingness that's there, what drives you to volunteer, to be that person that's so helpful to everybody else?
I'm a connector, like you had mentioned. I love being in groups of people and knowing their story. Everyone has a story to tell, and I absolutely love connecting passion with what the community needs. So if I can't help in that situation, who do I know that can, based on my Rolodex of contacts, and also always meeting someone new. There's always people that you meet and come in contact with, whether it's in line at coffee or at a networking event. I always just have that extrovert mentality of who can I meet today, and how can how can I connect them with what they're doing? I love giving back, like you had mentioned. There's a lot of great nonprofits in town, whether that's through the chamber, being on the Forward Sioux Falls campaign, helping out with the St. Patrick's Day parade. There's just a plethora of things to do within the chamber, but also within the community. We have over 500 to 1,000 nonprofits in town, and anything from animals to human services, special events to the arts, you name it. There's a committee out there. I promise you there's a committee out there for you. And if you need help finding something, please connect with me, and I'd be happy to try to open that door for you, or reach out to any one of the YPN steering committee members. I know there's a lot of different committees you can join, civic, action, legal, you name it. We can find your passion.
And so coming up from USD to going to Watertown, then coming to Sioux Falls, and you said you worked with a nonprofit for 8 years. Obviously, you had to get that motivation of how do I go to people and ask them for help, which is very tough for a young professional to do the first, second, third, fourth time until they get used to it, until they get into the motion of it. What advice do you have for somebody who is younger, in their 20s, or 30s, wanting to start that route, getting involved, getting the right opportunity to connect where they're passionate about? What advice would you have for any of us?
I would do two things. One, I would find a mentor in the place of work that you have and have them build you up professionally that way, and really understand the inner workings, the institutional knowledge in which you are working, and understand that business model. But I'd also ask them to find a mentor that's someone that's outside of your professional bubble. And so it may be asking someone in the community, and then driving that connector of what you want to do professionally. Do you want to be the best in your business? Great. Is there a professional group that you can continue to refine your skills, get that certification? Maybe it's a heightened education, both primary or secondary or beyond with your doctoral degrees. What can you do to better yourself? And it's just breaking that ceiling of nervousness, going up to someone and saying, will you mentor me? Is there something you can do that can train me, both from a formal or informal metric, where I want to become the best in my company, the best in my industry, or the best in Sioux Falls. And so how do I get there? Because you are at that level, and I want to become you someday. That's my recommendation.
And I know there's a lot of misconception. What would you say? Are you only allowed to have one mentor?
No, absolutely not. I've had a plethora of mentors, and I'll tell you, mentors come and go depending on what you need them for. At some point, you're going to gain those skills and continue on that path. And maybe you just need to check in with them intermittently, sporadically. And someone might need to hold your hand for a longer period of time, and that's okay. And if you get to that point where you're like, I've learned everything from you, I appreciate everything you've done, thank you so much, and you move on to the next stage in your life, you might need a different mentor. You have families, you want to buy a house, you are maybe looking at moving up within your company, and you want to try a different department. It totally can change every year or sooner.
Yeah. And do you always have to pay for a mentor?
Absolutely not. You can pay for mentor. That's totally fine. If you go down that road, more power to you. But you can always ask, and people will be willing to give their time and their talent. Just make an ask. Everyone that I've asked has been very gracious. They've come forward with, I don't have a lot of time, and you just build that into your schedule.
Absolutely. And I know this kind of goes with that subject, and I know we have a question here, so we'll get to that in just a second. But when you were starting, what would be probably the most uncomfortable thing that you made yourself do that you would tell anybody to do? Make sure you carve out the time, do this. It'll be so uncomfortable the very first time, but you're going to see it progress you to the next stage over and over and over.
Definitely getting involved. It's taking the opportunity to leave your professional world and your personal life and go to those networking events and starting to build your brand, your own personal brand, who you are, and starting to build those connections. And then that way you can lean on people when you need help, mentor, an idea, support system. But just going to those networking events, going up, breaking the ice, it's awkward, right? I've been there. You go to these big rooms, you've never been to the facility or space before. You only know maybe Kayla or someone else, right? And Kayla's working the room because she has 1,000 people coming at her all at once. And that person that you know is also in a really strong conversation. Have some business cards, just go up and say, hi, I'm James Pyer, and I'm new to the community. Who are you? And just try to start very surface level. You don't have to get real deep and narrow right away. You can start at the surface level and then maybe grab coffee and start to build that foundation of a friendship or professional degree at some point. But I would recommend at least starting with the YPN group and then maybe going fuller scale with other events that maybe the chamber's offering or a special association would offer.
Yep. And one of the biggest things I found personally going to the chamber mixers is, yes, it's a different type of group, but those people that are at those are very important people that can really make a life difference for you if you get to know them, if you get to build that connection with them. And like you said, well, they are kind of awkward to start with, but as you meet this one person, they're going to introduce you to a couple people, and then those people are going to introduce you to a couple people, and you're not going to get that on your first event. So just continuing to force yourself to go to these. By event 4, 5, 6, 7, you're going to know a plethora of people at these events that are just going to help you grow yourself professionally, or just make those events more fun for when you actually do go to those. Would you agree?
Oh, totally agree. And like you had mentioned, the more people you know, they're going to introduce you to other people, and that's just going to continue to heighten your professionalism, your Rolodex of contacts. Totally agree, 100%.
Well, I know that we could talk probably hours about all this, just knowing me and you. But we do want to get to a couple questions, get to know a little bit more about you specifically. But Carly asks, what is the best piece of professional advice you've ever received?
Best piece, okay, I would say don't be afraid to fail. I have failed a lot in my time, and I've tried things that don't work out. And you never fail, you learn from them, right? And so that's something that I can take to heart. I mean, at the end of the day, we work hard, we put our blood, sweat, and tears, we stay late at the office some days, and it just sometimes never comes to fruition. But if you never try, you never know. So my biggest piece of advice is just try it. And if it doesn't work, learn from it, modify it, try it again with some different variations. But I mean, everyone fails. Sometimes they're more noticeable than others, but I have no doubt in my mind that at some point you'll be successful, or you'll learn from it and continue to use that to push forward in other ways.
Yep. Awesome. And Dakota Jordan kind of brings up the point of, we all have our jobs, we all have our careers, but when we are going to these, we're not really selling our job or our career. Yes, that is a background item that is a part of all of that. But what we're really doing is we're showing people our own personal brand. We are who we are, and we all have a reputation. That reputation is built by putting yourself in these positions and all of that stuff. And that creates your own personal brand. James, what would you say is the James Pyer II brand?
Ooh, my brand is probably, if you peg me as a one size fits all kind of box, I hope that people say he's a volunteer, he's compassionate about philanthropic endeavors, he wants to make the community better. He's the person that I can ask that will say yes to drive forward some sort of result, whether that's fundraising, a marketing initiative, a volunteer committee. He's able to take what we are needing out of what we want to have for a result and either get us there or connect us to the right person that can get us there, right? My time's valuable just as everybody else's, but I'd be willing to help out if I have the opportunity, if I have the capacity, whether that's time, talent, or treasure. If I can write you a check, if I can give you my volunteer time, if I can give you some of my skills, insights, would love to do that. And I do that, across a lot of different fields right now. I'm a big passion for the arts. I love to see the sculpture walk downtown. I love to see Broadway shows, concerts at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. How do we continue to drive arts in the community? I'm a very big, passionate person about United Way. You help out a lot of nonprofits with one major campaign. There are a lot of great nonprofits in that cohort. And then, there's a lot of just different community events with the chamber, right? And so how do we connect young professionals with business leaders? How do we drive to continue to come together as a collective, business collective, and betterment of the city, whether that's through the Forward Sioux Falls campaign or just being a diplomat or just being in the YPN network. What can I do to better all those different committees?
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned in that whole segment that you like to go out, you like to see the sculptures, you like to, we can probably, you're not too much of a homebody, are you? I feel like we see you
Absolutely
everywhere.
not. No.
So when you do go out, Andrea is asking, when you go out, what's your go-to drink when you go out?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So Jody Schwan asked me a similar question, and it was really hard for me to answer because I don't have like one specific place that I always go to. I like to spread the love. Every restaurant, bar, coffee shop has its own personality, its own uniqueness to the city and to the area that it's in. So when I go out, you can see me downtown having a cocktail at maybe Crawford's Carpenter Bar, more of a laid back atmosphere. You could see me at Tommy Jack's or Pave, right? I appreciate the handcraftedness of a nice cocktail, one that you can enjoy, but I also love the idea of going to like maybe a dive bar, like a Ken's Corner or a Log Cabin, Alibi way on the outskirts of town, just depending on the type of mood I'm in. What time of day is it? Is this a business meeting or more of a casual, relaxed setting with some friends? So I hate to not answer the question, Andrea, because I do appreciate it, but I don't know how to answer it because I enjoy so many different things.
So are you more of a go out for drinks later in the day or a coffee person?
Both. So if you know me, you're going to see me running up and down the sidewalks of Phillips Avenue or getting in my car, zipping across town to go from meeting to meeting to meeting. I start right away in the morning. Would love to have coffee. You can usually see me at a local coffee shop, and then throughout the day, as the day starts to prolong, you could start to see me maybe on a patio somewhere when it's nice, or at JJ's Wine and Spirits, just having drinks with someone.
That's awesome. And James, you are probably more connected in the community than most people are, and you know so much about Sioux Falls and so much about the Sioux Falls community that maybe a lot of us don't realize is actually out there. So Addie Graham Kramer asks, what is your favorite part about our incredible community?
Oh my gosh, it's the people. I mean, talk about Addie Graham being a special person, right? I mean, it totally is the people. You can run into anyone downtown. You can run into anyone at the mall. You can run into a visitor, you can a resident, and they just add color to this palette, right? And they bring so much to our community. And so all of the passions kind of interweave and interlock and make the community better, whether it's the civic engagement, our legislative leaders that advocate and really drive home what we want in Sioux Falls, or our business community leaders seeing the vision, saying, this is something we need. We need a skateboard park. We need a Levitt Shell downtown. We need a premier center that can drive big acts. We need the Washington Pavilion to succeed. We need all of these things to make our city better. If you think about the visionary leaders that started building the River Greenway project, and now we utilize it every single time, whether it's special events or just the bike trail, getting out and thinking back, like, who had that vision? And now that we have it, what's the next thing that we want to get? And so these people that are talented, the visionary, the volunteers in our community, how do we continue to push that forward and get these really awesome community assets to life? I would go back and say the people by far are the best.
The gem that's not really a hidden gem, the people.
The people, I'm telling you, people.
That's awesome. Yep. And we do have another question from Carly Manahan. Geez, you're getting so many questions out. This is awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I know this might be a question that is a little dangerous to answer. So if you want to, go for it. If you don't want to, we completely understand, because we get that type of question. So you are a volunteer. You volunteer in so many things. You're involved in so many causes in this Sioux Empire community. What is the cause that you are most passionate about, and why?
Good question. I'll probably make some nonprofits mad, but I am very passionate about the Washington Pavilion, and here's why. It has so many different facets to it. From a children's museum, you can learn, you can engage. There's STEM-based concepts there. We have a Cinedome that you can sit back and look at this interact, like this huge dome that projects movies, and you feel like you're a part of the show. Broadway, right? I mean, we talk about bringing music and talent to life and experiencing something that you've never seen before and just immersing yourself and getting lost into the story. And then you almost are drawn in as a character, and you just want to be a part of the song and a part of the story. And then they also have different events that they have overseeing the Orpheum Theater now. They have DAPA. It's just, I could go on and on and on, Corey, about how much I just appreciate the arts in the community. And I think they have great leadership that continues to drive that mission forward. And I've been a part of it now for 5 years. I'm coming on my 6th year, and I'll eventually get kicked off, right, from a term limit standpoint. But it has been such emotional, fulfilling experience being a part of the Washington Pavilion of Arts and Science.
That's cool. And I know that we do have a couple of questions that we still have to hit, but we do have one more from Nichelle. She's asking, what is one thing you're looking forward to coming to Sioux Falls?
Oh, good question. One thing that I look forward to coming to Sioux Falls, you have to look at Foundation Park and just go, wow, what a vision that is, right? I mean, we have, that is growing leaps and bounds. I don't know what else they have in plan, but what they've released, you know, that USA Foods, the Amazon Fulfillment Center, you have Sears going out there, Wind Chill's out there. Hello, it's just growing like crazy. And that's a great opportunity for Sioux Falls. But the skate park is going to be awesome. That's that ice rink outside that they just kind of announced. That's going to be great for downtown Sioux Falls, and continuing to drive tourism, continuing to drive the betterment of life and of our neighbors and the downtown businesses. That kind of to package it all up. Those are the big projects that I get excited about.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming. And if anybody isn't open or knowing about what is coming to Sioux Falls, ask James, ask Kayla, search the Chamber website. There's some really cool things that are coming to Sioux Falls that a lot of people might not know about, such as the skate park or the ice rink or what's all going in that complex north of town. So I think we have some pretty exciting stuff coming up. So we will get to other questions that we have for you that we just want to touch base on. And if we go over 30 minutes, that's okay. We won't go too much over to respect your time. But what is your favorite YPN event and why?
Ooh, favorite YPN event would be I'm going to say the YPN Community Connections tours. So if you're not familiar with those, Kayla and her steering committee do a really awesome job lining up kind of behind the scenes curtains of how the factories or how these big companies tick. And so I had the unique ability to go inside of like Smithfield, and you got to watch how bacon is made. And you go literally from when the livestock comes in to the final packaging. Such a cool, unique peek behind that curtain. The CTE Academy was another one where, you know, it's a non-traditional learning setting for students in our community that maybe want to do some trade skills and learn some different opportunities in different categories of industries. And it was just a great opportunity to learn what's happening at CTE Academy. We also went to the prison, and I know that sounds kind of crazy, but when you get to take a tour of the prison and understand truly how everything interworks and the check-in process and that kind of thing was just kind of a fun thing to learn and understand and just get a better feel of the community.
Yeah, and those community connection tours, I do know they've been kind of on hold with COVID and everything, everybody that's watching, but there is one coming up. So keep an eye on your emails that you get from Kayla every Monday. If you're interested in going to any of those, we do them not quite often, but pretty often to where you can probably find one on there. And if it's not on there one week, it might be on the next couple of weeks. So absolutely watch those Monday emails that Kayla sends out to see those in there. Do you have a favorite story about being at one of those that you want to share with everybody, or just those in general?
You know, the Smithfield one still resonates with me because it's such a process to think about every single thing that they thought about, from getting that hog from literally coming off of the trailer, right, the semi-trailer, to processing it through the entire way and making a package, and how many staff they employ, blows my mind, and just a great regional and national benefit for Sioux Falls, South Dakota, from a workforce standpoint, for a quality of life standpoint. Think about the number of people that they employ and continue to drive that economic generation from those workers getting paychecks, going out to restaurants, buying things at the local mall or maybe downtown boutique. That kind of thing is just a great asset for the city.
Yeah, and I think it is one of those big places that goes a little unnoticed unless you go to the falls and kind of see it in the background there, or maybe you notice the shortage that we had when COVID started, because Smithfield is such a big part of the community and the nation. We were seeing those shortages, so yeah, that would be really cool to see. I unfortunately missed that one, so I didn't get to see it, but it sounds like it would be super cool and fun. We will touch base real quick before we hit rapid fire on what are 3 words that best describe you, James Pyer, the person.
Ooh, I would say I'm ambitious. I'm ready to. I'm never going to say that I'm not going to do something. I'll take on that challenge. I'm pretty versatile, so I'm ability to be like a chameleon and change when I need to, and then be somewhat imaginative. Kind of going on that path of the arts marketing. Like, how can you vision? How can this come to be with just some ideas and building that out? So I would say ambitious, versatile, and imaginative would be my 3.
There you go. Those are perfect 3. I think those describe you really, really well. Okay, so are you ready for rapid fire?
I feel like we've been doing rapid fire, so yeah, let's just.
Yeah, right. I know you. This is the first time I've been hosting where we've actually had to cut off the questions just so we could not take too much of your time. So you have about 2 minutes,
Okay.
20 questions.
Great.
And just this or that. You have 2 options. Got to pick one, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we'll see how far you can get in 2 minutes. Dog or cat?
What? I didn't hear you.
Dog or cat?
Oh, dog. 100%.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Call or text?
I am a call person.
Okay, Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
Ice cream or snow cone?
Ice cream.
And music or podcast?
Music, 100%.
Apple or Android?
Android. I still lug an Android around.
Those last 2 are kind of surprising to me. Okay. High tech or low tech?
High tech, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Work hard or play hard?
I'm a work hard kind of person. I do appreciate a hard day's work.
Yeah, absolutely. Hamburger or taco?
Oh, taco, 1,000% taco.
Online shopping or in store?
In store, and you can do that at the Empire Mall.
There you go. Coke or Pepsi?
I'm a Coke person. I like Coke.
Iced or hot coffee?
Iced, 100%. 100% iced.
Save or spend?
I'm a spend kind of person. Spend now, enjoy it now.
Yep. Live in the moment. TV or book?
A TV. I need that stimulation.
Yeah. City or countryside?
City. I live downtown. I love downtown.
Yeah. Winter or summer?
Summer.
Okay.
Wildwater West, summer, down in the boat. Oh, yeah.
Beer or wine?
I love a good, since cider is not a beer. Some people are like, I'll have a cider beer. That's not true. You can't call it a cider beer. I'll go with wine because you can't have, so if it was beer or cider, I'd choose cider, but I'll choose wine in this instance.
Okay, or else I'm guessing a cocktail.
Right, exactly. Yeah, nice vodka cocktail would be great.
Show or movie?
Oh, a show.
Absolutely. Off the clock or morning mingle?
Ooh, I'm not a morning person, but I appreciate it. So we'll do a networking in the evening.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I think that wraps up our 20 questions. James, I do know we're running out of time. We got about 2 minutes left. What is the best way that anybody out here can connect with you?
Yeah, I love connecting with people. You can find my my wonderful headshot on the chamber website, and it lists different links you can get in contact with me. It lists my email and my LinkedIn. You can search me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email. It is just my james.payer@simon.com. You go to the Empire Mall's website, you can find my information, connect with me on Facebook. I'm really easy to get a hold of. Otherwise, you can contact probably Corey, Kayla, whoever else.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we wrap up, I do just want to, point out and thank you, James, for everything that you do for Sioux Falls. I mean, seeing a young professional such as yourself that's so involved shows everybody that you can get involved if you just start. And starting is hard, and you have to put yourself through that. And you being able to tell us that, yes, it is awkward, it is hard, it is, but you get through it, right? And you become
Right.
super successful like you are. So, thank you for everything that you've done for the city, you've done for the community, you've done for YPN, you've done for the chamber as a diplomat, and that you personally did for me when I was starting. I think you were one of the first people I met when I started my other job, that when I was with First Dakota Title, to introduce me to these community leaders that I was like, oh, geez, I didn't think that would be coming from this, but you were so willing and vulnerable to open up and share those connections that you had. So I truly do appreciate that. Next week, we do have Sarah Lum sitting with us, and I think Dakota Jordan will be hosting that one. So join us next week with Sarah Lum and Dakota Jordan. James, any last words that you want to give us? Some inspiration, any advice, anything like that?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. And if you're not a YPN member, I highly encourage that you join. It's a great organization. Really, really awesome. Would love to talk to you if you're on the fence about joining. So
Absolutely.
check it out.
Thank you so much for your time, James.
Thank you.